Yo, what's up? This is the professor. Today I'm going to talk about you are not the body or the mind. So I think some of you already know this. I already knew it, but I was just watching a video and this spiritual teacher said that you're not the body, you're not the mind. I knew it, but thinking about it again, and I was able to just think about it like um, when I distance myself. I just imagine like I just drop the body and I drop the mind and distance myself. What is left? It is your inner soul and spirit, the consciousness that's just watching and not associating yourself with the mind and body. I just felt more peaceful. My mind was just quiet. Of course, our mind being able to think about the past and the future is kind of helps us to survive. It's something that makes human beings who they are. So, so accepting the mind for what it is, but when you distance yourself from it, then you don't associate with what the mind brings up. All the when your mind, the mind is never satisfied. The body is never satisfied, but the observer that watches over the consciousness within you, your soul and spirit, all that consciousness that's part of everything that's watching is not affected. When any situation or anything happens, that's the part of you that's not affected. The mind is affected, the body is affected, but by what you see and everything, but there's a part of you that's not affected by anything. That's just observing everything that's happening. So when you disassociate yourself from the body and from the mind, you'll be more peaceful. Things will just be happening, and you're able to assess. When you start to watch the mind, then the mind knows you're watching it. That's how the mind, it's under your control. But when you associate yourself with the mind, then the mind, it's able to dictate to you. But when you watch the mind, then the mind does not dictate you. So you're able to be in charge of your mind and your body because you don't associate yourself with it. So that's just some. So no matter situation, whatever, positive or negative, all the experiences that you go through, the mind exaggerates everything, and whether it's positive or negative, everything is recorded in the mind. And like the Bible says, don't be a slave to the lust of the flesh. So of course, the body is biologically has its needs, and the mind also creates its own thoughts. That's how we survive. So you can't go against that. That would be a waste of time. But distancing yourself, knowing you're not the body, you're not the mind, especially, you give you a peace of mind that the mind will not be able to control you. Events, things that happen in your life will not be controlling you. You're able to know you're the observer. You're not affected, meaning you can move forward with your life and make the future better. And you don't let the mind or body dictate to you. So you're not. It makes you to detach from this, not to have, not to be attached to whatever that happens. To whatever the mind brings up. You're able to monitor everything, and you become the supervisor of your mind and your body and everything. And then you're able to make more clearer decisions and able to see things more clearly. And the mind, when the mind notices you're watching it, it starts to calm down and becomes under your control. So that's what especially knowing that the mind, you're not the mind, because we know, most of you know you're a spiritual being, but knowing you're not also the mind, that I knew it, but I didn't give a thought to it. Just distancing myself from the mind and the body, I just feel different. I feel more original. Just the observer, just being the observer of everything. Like one time I had a toothache, I had my tooth removed, and then I had this pain. And when I started to distance myself from the body and the pain, then was observing that, what's saying I'm in pain. And so when I became the observer, I could feel the pain was separate from me when I had my tooth removed, my wisdom tooth removed. So I felt even then you don't associate yourself with the pain or whatever. You don't associate yourself because that's all that's happening in the body and the mind. but this part of you that's not affected, and that gives you a peace of mind that, you know what, no matter what happens around you, there's a part of you that's beyond the mind, beyond the body. And so knowing that you're not the body and you're not the mind gives you a peace of mind. That rhymes. So so that's how you can quiet the mind and put the mind under your control. And if you don't associate with it, it gives you a peace of mind. So thank you. That's something that just I feel different. I feel you feel one with God when you dissociate with the body and the mind. You feel one with the universal consciousness. You feel one with the source. You feel one with everything. What else is left is the source, the observer, right? Like even the Bible, they say God watches everything, on whatever spiritual text that you have. So the universal force, or the source, or other people call it God, or that energy that keeps us alive. Then what's left? The observer, with no past. So if you're not the body, not the mind, you don't have a past, you don't have a future. You're just observing everything that's happening. So you live with the pure self, the pure self. So that puts you in a position of power. And you're able to make clearer decisions, and the mind cannot control you, and you have more peace of mind. And so that's when you're only left with the self, the original consciousness, and the original observer. Like they say, God watches everything. You become the watcher. Like one person said, I like what one person, spiritual person, said. He said, we came from the observers in the ethers, and we came back from the light beings to the physical. So when you become back to that observer, like you're in the ethers, so that observing part of you, that's what you associate yourself with. That's not affected by anything. If you say it's my body, who is saying that? Who is saying it's my mind? Who is, so who is observing? Who's watching everything? So that's all I have to say. So you're not the body, you're not the mind, and that will give you a peace of mind. So that's my dad. He just arrived. So thank you for watching, and peace. Like this video if you like it. I'm out.